Mark Burdig with you, both on audio and video, with our Facebook page, Football Preview for Renda Broadcasting, and I have 16th year head coach Roger Beidel of the Ligonier Valley Rams. And Roger, all you've done, your returning cast of seniors, they've won a few games, 39-3 over the past 3 years, and you have high expectations again this year, don't you?
We do. A lot of good kids that are coming back have had a lot of experience, and they've been in the trenches for a long time, and they've learned how to play football, and they have almost 4 seasons under their belt already before they even begin their senior year. So with 18 of those kids coming back, we're old and very experienced.
Yeah, really, when you think about that, that's an excellent point. 42 football games, and most teams are used to playing 10 unless you make the playoffs and survive a round or two, and those guys, you're right, have played 4 seasons in 3. This logo behind me actually could have the Ligonier Valley Ram logo as part of it, because you've dominated the Appalachian Bowl since they brought it back. It's really been a good thing, though, hasn't it? We're fortunate that First Commonwealth Bank is sponsoring it now, and they're going to take it back to your old stomping grounds this year at Penn's Manor on the turf. So it'll be good to have it in Indiana County, and I'm sure it's a goal to get back one more time.
It's certainly a goal, which means we would have won the Heritage Conference again, and for us, that's the big challenge. Number 4 in a row is special. That's the one thing that Blairsville did back, and those are some legendary teams. And our senior class has the opportunity to win 4 in a row and tie them. And that's one of our main goals this year, is to try to tie that great record by those great Blairsville teams.
Speaking of great, the great Aaron Totino is gone. John Caldwell, who was great last year as the quarterback, he has graduated. We'll talk about maybe some replacements, but where you really don't need replacement parts is on the offensive line. You have had good offensive lines, and these guys have led the way, but this may be the best group you've ever had.
Well, in terms of their resumes, it's pretty hard to argue against that. We have 3 kids who currently have Division I offers. 2 of them have committed. One will probably commit here right at the beginning of the season. And they're talented, they're deep, and again, they have all that playing experience under their belts. And we're very blessed to have those guys. It's a rare air, honestly, to have that many kids on an offensive line that have Division I scholarships at this point. Sometimes you have 1. So in terms of resumes, it'd be arguably the best offensive line that we've ever had.
Playoff or experience is one thing, but experience as a group is another thing. And when you have that coming into a season where they've already gelled, they're used to playing with one another, they know their assignments, how big of an advantage is that for that group?
Well, especially whenever you consider it to be the same system for them in terms of blocking and scheme, et cetera. And the offensive line, those guys have to mesh. Really, the only change we have from last year on our offensive line is Wiley Spiker will be inserted at the left tackle with Mike Petroff, and those two have already had a great rapport. They lift weights together every single day, and through spring ball and then through the summer, those two have been side by side, so they're working things out, and everything else is intact that we return. So definitely we feel very confident in our offensive line at this point.
It appeared a couple of years ago that Sam Sheeter would be your starting quarterback. He sustained an injury, opened up a door. Caldwell walked in, did a great job. Sheeter eventually comes back. You mix him in a role like you used to with Jackson Doherty, right? And what's the plan for this year? Will Sam have the upper hand for that starting Q position?
Well, Sam is our starting quarterback at this point. He did a great job for us last year in the role of athlete, in the slot, catching passes. A kid who kind of bounced around, was the second leading receiver in all of the Heritage Conference in Indiana County area, with 42 catches, and now he's going to be moving to the quarterback position full time. And what he does is he just gives us that extra dimension that he brought to us when he was a sophomore. The reason that he was named the starter when he was a 10th grader was his ability to run. Now his ability to run is still there, and he's worked very hard on his ability to distribute the ball down the field and get it to those receivers. And again, he's just going to bring that extra added dimension to us. And then you add in Kiri Miller, who is last year broke our single-season rushing record. That's a real nice 1-2 punch out of those two positions right there.
And another guy, I wouldn't be doing my job. I know it's been a little bit controversial. I asked Kevin Marabito about it. Certainly not foreign to Heritage Conference schools where kids have transferred for different reasons, and certainly anywhere in the country for that matter. But you inherit a pretty good athlete that moved into the district by the name of Kyle Silk, who did great things at United High School. And how do you plan on utilizing Kyle?
Well, in the short time that I've gotten to see him, in addition to his athleticism, I will say he's a fantastic kid. I didn't really know him prior to him moving. Great kid, but his athleticism is really second to none. One thing that I don't think a lot of people saw with his role as a quarterback was his hands. He's a basketball player. He's an athlete. He has phenomenal hands. His ability to catch the ball is phenomenal. And we're going to use him a lot, kind of like we used Sam last year as an athlete. We know he can run. I mean, my guy, he was over 1,000 yards rushing last year, and he had an incredible 30 touchdowns. So he's going to touch the ball for us in a multitude of ways. He can play some quarterback. He's going to be in the backfield. He'll be in the slot. He'll be a receiver. There's just so many different things that he brings to the table with his skill set, and we're really blessed to have an athlete like him.
Even for a senior with experience, there's a learning curve coming into a different system. How's he been adapting?
He's been great, and he's been able to meet with different skill kids and go down to the field. I drive past the field, and they're down there working on routes. He's catching the ball, but he's picked up on things quickly. He's a football player, and take the ball, put it over that line. It's the same everywhere. Some language barriers early on, the way we communicate things, but he's picking it up, and just again, what a great kid.
There's obviously a lot of reason to be optimistic. Is there any one area of the game as you get ready for camp that maybe you're concerned about, an area that you feel that some decisions will have to be made moving forward?
The biggest decision I see for us is on the defensive side, is in the secondary. We moved some guys around based on personnel, and it's kind of been a domino effect of different kids moving and some size changes with kids and their ability to run, or they maybe weren't played where we should have had them that fits their strengths the best last season. But our secondary is the least experienced, and we're kind of young and inexperienced back there. We have moved Sam Sheeter back to the strong safety position, kind of re-brought back the Colin Smith type scheme that we use with him. Sam's a fantastic linebacker, and having him off the line of scrimmage at 6 or 7 yards and playing downhill and unaccounted for by the offense is very appealing to our defensive scheme. But our corners are the ones, they're the least experienced and untested, and that's where we need to see the greatest competition and growth in camp as we move forward.
Coach, I'm going to close with this. I'm really looking forward to Saturday, September 7th, not because it's a week before my birthday. My wife will probably want to take me somewhere for a week, maybe. Who knows? But we're going to take it back in history to New Florence, Jerry Page's old field, and some of the many great players that played there. Of course, I'm not talking about the Laurel Valley Rams, although we could, about the many great teams. The New Florence Wolverines. I know you had a lot to do with this. I think it's fabulous, and I think your building principal was involved as well. But you're going to have throwback jerseys. It's going to be the New Florence Wolverines and the Armagh Lions, I believe. Talk about that day, and you're going to play it at 1 o'clock just like they used to. I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, I do too. It's great for football. It's great for the communities. Tim Canner, our principal, he came up to me one day and he said, "What do you think about playing a game at Laurel Valley at 1 o'clock?" I said, "All for it." I said, let's get the right opponent, and I think we got the perfect opponent in United because of the rivalry that used to exist, and they used to play day games, and those rivalries between the two, Laurel Valley and United, I mean, those were rivalries. They're always, those guys get together, they always talk about them, but we're taking it back, like you said, even further, and to help with the celebration of the New Florence 150-year celebration. We are going to don New Florence Wolverine jerseys. The Brandon J. Boyd Foundation was gracious enough to sponsor the jerseys for all the kids on our team. And we got some people, Dickie Stewart from Stewart's Funeral Home in New Florence was instrumental in helping us get designs. Dave Shannon, one of my assistant coaches, his grandfather had his letter from New Florence, so we replicated that on the sleeves. It's just going to be a great day. We'll be the only game in town. I just, really looking forward to playing, though Kevin said you're going to hate playing on a Saturday afternoon because it's going to be hot. But it's one of those things. I think it's great for football. It's great for the two schools to be able to do this. And again, I'm really excited because I am a historian of the game. I love those old things that used to be part of the game that you don't see anymore. It's just amazing.
I think it is amazing. I think it's a fabulous idea. We'll certainly make plans to air that game on Cat Country 106.3. Wonder if Jack Benedict goes back to the New Florence Wolverines. Probably not, and he's tied up with IUP anyway, so forget that idea. Hey, thanks for doing this. We look forward to seeing you on the 23rd down at Ligonier Valley when you host Homer Center.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark.
Roger Beidel, 16th year head coach of the Ligonier Valley Rams. They've been mostly successful in the last 39-3, speaks volumes. We'll look forward to his first game and our entire schedule on our Renda Broadcasting stations with the coach. I'm Mark Burdick reporting.